Today, we're diving deep into the hidden story, the surprising little-known reasons English became the king of languages. And trust me, once you understand its power, you'll realize how mastering English could transform your life forever. Before we uncover the secrets, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what's coming next. All right, let's unlock the truth behind English's unstoppable global domination.
Let's go back in time. 1,500 years ago. English was not the global language. In fact, it was just a local language spoken by a few small groups of people in England. At that time, the powerful languages were Latin, Greek, Chinese, and Arabic. These were the languages of empires, trade, and religion. English was considered a simple, unimportant language spoken only by people in a small island nation. So how did it go from a small language to the #1 language in the world? The answer lies in history, power, and globalization. Now imagine this. It's the 1600s, and England is a growing power. But England is not the biggest country in the world. Other empires like Spain and France are much stronger. But England had a secret weapon, its navy. The British built one of the strongest navies in history. They started traveling, conquering, and colonizing different parts of the world. Soon, India, Africa, Australia, and parts of America were under British control. With British rule came the English language. Here's the key part. Even after these countries gained independence, English remained the language of government, business, and education. That's why even today, India, Nigeria, and South Africa still use English as an official language. Now that we understand how the British Empire spread English across the world, let's move to the next chapter of this story. Because even though the British helped English reach many countries, that alone was not enough to make it the world's dominant language. There was another major event that changed everything. Something even bigger than the British Empire. And that event was the rise of the United States of America. The year was 1945. The world had just gone through one of the deadliest conflicts in history, World War II. Many of the most powerful countries like Britain, Germany, and France were left in ruins. Their economies were broken, their cities were destroyed, and they had lost millions of people in the war. But there was one country that became stronger than ever, the United States. Unlike Europe, America did not suffer massive destruction on its land. Instead, its economy had grown even more powerful during the war. It had the strongest industries, the most advanced technology, and the most stable government. And with great power comes great influence. After the war, America started leading the world in almost every area: politics, economics, science, entertainment, and technology. And with America's rise came the second great wave of English dominance. Let's break it down. 1. The dollar became the world's money. One of the biggest reasons English became so dominant was because of money. After World War II, the American dollar became the most powerful currency in the world. Almost every major country started using the dollar for international trade, banking, and business. Think about this. When countries buy oil, they pay in dollars. When businesses trade across borders, they use dollars. When people invest in global markets, they rely on the American financial system. And because money and business go hand in hand, the language of business became English. Even today, if you want to work for an international company, negotiate deals, or start a global business, you must know English. 2. America created modern entertainment and pop culture. The second major factor that made English so powerful was Hollywood and the music industry. During the 20th century, America became the world's entertainment leader. Before this, people around the world enjoyed local movies, music, and literature in their own languages. But after the war, Hollywood movies and American music started dominating the entire world. The biggest films were made in Hollywood. The most famous music artists were from America. The most popular TV shows were in English. As a result, more and more people started watching movies in English, listening to English songs, and dreaming of speaking English like their favorite stars. Even today, the most successful music albums, Netflix shows, and Hollywood blockbusters are in English. And because people love entertainment, they naturally learn English without even realizing it. 3. The internet was built in English. Imagine a world without the internet. Today, we use it for everything: learning, working, socializing, shopping, and even entertainment. But here's the thing. When the internet was created, almost everything was in English. The first websites were in English. The biggest tech companies, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, were American. The programming languages that powered the internet were also written in English. Because of this, English became the dominant language of the online world. Even today, most websites are in English. Many software programs require knowledge of English. If you want to succeed in the digital age, you must understand English. This means that whether you are studying, doing business, or just using social media, English is everywhere. 4. English became the language of science and innovation. One of the most important reasons English became the most powerful language is because it became the language of science, medicine, and technology. Think about this. The most important scientific research is published in English. The biggest universities in the world teach in English. The most advanced medical discoveries are shared in English. The most successful tech companies operate in English. If you are a scientist, doctor, or engineer, and you want to share your work with the world, you must do it in English. This is why students and professionals from countries like China, India, Brazil, and Russia all study English. They know that if they want to be part of global progress, they must speak the global language. 5. America's military and political influence. English also became powerful because of America's military and political influence. After World War II, America became the world's most powerful country, not just in business and technology, but also in military strength and politics. The United Nations, the most important global organization, uses English as one of its main languages. The world's most powerful military alliance, NATO, operates in English. When world leaders meet for international summits, they often speak English. In short, if you want to participate in global politics, you need to understand English. Now let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. English is not the most spoken language in the world. Mandarin Chinese has more native speakers. Spanish is spoken across many countries, but English is the most useful and powerful language in human history. Why? Because of money, business, entertainment, the internet, science, and global politics. If you know English, you can get better job opportunities anywhere in the world, travel easily and communicate with people from different countries, learn new skills faster because most educational content is in English, start an international business, and reach more customers. Enjoy global entertainment without waiting for translations. This is why English is not just a language. It's a global skill. We explored how English became the most powerful language in the world. We saw how the British Empire spread it to different continents and how America's rise made it essential in business, science, entertainment, and technology. But now, we have a big question to answer. Will English remain the global language forever? Or could another language, like Chinese, Spanish, or even artificial intelligence, AI translations, replace it? Now, we will go deep into this topic and break it down step by step in a way that's super easy to understand. By the end, you'll have a clear idea of what the future of the English language might look like. So, let's get started. Why English is still getting stronger. Even though many people ask if English will lose its power, the reality is that English is not just staying strong, it's growing stronger. Let's look at some facts that prove this. A. More people are learning English than ever before. Did you know that right now, more than 1.5 billion people around the world are learning English? That's almost 20% of the entire world's population. Even in countries where English is not an official language, like China, Russia, Brazil, and Germany, English is becoming a mandatory subject in schools. Why? Because parents, students, and professionals all understand one thing. If you know English, you have better opportunities. You can get better jobs. You can study at the world's best universities. You can communicate with anyone around the world. Even in small villages in Africa or remote towns in Asia, English learning centers are opening every day. This means that English is not just a language, it has become a life skill. And this demand is still increasing every single year. The digital world runs on English. We live in a world that is completely connected by the internet, technology, and social media. And guess what? The internet was built in English. More than 50% of websites on the internet are in English. Most software programming languages are based on English words. If you want to work in technology, AI, coding, or data science, you must know English. Even social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube use English as their primary language. For example, when a new trend starts on social media, it usually starts in English. Most viral videos, memes, and global discussions are in English. Even when people from non-English speaking countries post content, they often use English hashtags to reach a bigger audience. This means that English is not just a language, it is a digital necessity. And in today's world, if something is strong in the digital space, it is strong in the real world too. This is why millions of people in countries like India, China, and Brazil spend years improving their English just to get better jobs. Because in business, knowing English means you have access to higher salaries, international clients, and career growth. So, if a language helps people make money, will they stop learning it? Of course not. And that's another reason why English is still getting stronger. Now, let's discuss the second big question. Could another language take over English as the global language? The answer is, it's possible, but very difficult. Let's look at some of the most powerful languages in the world and see if they could ever replace English. Chinese Mandarin, the most spoken language. Chinese has more than 1.3 billion native speakers, making it the most spoken language in the world. And China is one of the fastest growing economies, with a lot of influence in global trade, manufacturing, and technology. So, could Mandarin replace English? Here's the problem. Chinese is very difficult to learn. It has thousands of characters instead of an alphabet. Grammar and pronunciation are complex. Even if you learn to write Chinese, speaking it fluently is another challenge. China itself encourages English learning. Many Chinese students and professionals prefer to learn English instead of spreading Mandarin worldwide. For these reasons, Mandarin is powerful but unlikely to replace English. Spanish, the second most spoken language. Spanish is spoken by more than 500 million people and is the official language of over 20 countries. Could Spanish become the next global language? Here's the problem. Spanish is mostly spoken in Latin America and Spain. Outside these regions, it is not widely used. Many Spanish-speaking countries themselves prioritize English for business and education. The digital and tech world is still dominated by English. So while Spanish is growing, it is not strong enough to replace English globally. Artificial intelligence, AI, and automatic translation. Some people argue that in the future, AI-powered translation will make language learning unnecessary. For example, Google Translate is improving. AI tools can now provide real-time voice translation. In the future, people might just wear AI-powered earbuds that instantly translate any language. So, could AI remove the need for English? Not exactly. Here's why. AI translation is still not perfect. Business leaders, scientists, and professionals will still prefer to communicate directly in one common language. English is already deeply integrated into global culture, business, and education. This means that even if AI translation improves, English will remain the dominant global language. So, what does all this mean for the future? Here's what we can expect. English will continue to grow. More people will learn it, more universities will teach in English, and more businesses will require it. English might evolve. In the future, we may see simpler English dialects that make it easier for global learners. Other languages will remain important. Spanish, Chinese, and Arabic will still be powerful, but they won't replace English globally. AI will assist, but not replace English. Technology will make communication easier, but English will still be essential for jobs, business, and education. So, if you are learning English, you are making one of the best investments in your future. Because no matter how the world changes, English will remain the language of opportunity, success, and global connection. How English can change your life. We have already discussed why English is the global language and why it is not going away anytime soon. But now we are going to talk about something even bigger. How English can change your life. Because the truth is, English is not just a language. English is a tool. English is power. English is freedom. And if you truly understand this, if you truly take this seriously, it can completely transform your future. So, let's start from the very beginning. Before we talk about how English can change your life, let's imagine something. What if you didn't know English? Let's say you only speak your native language. At first, it might not seem like a big problem, but then reality hits. You want to watch a movie, but the best ones are in English. You want to read a book, but the most powerful books are in English. You go online to learn a skill, but most tutorials are in English. You apply for a job, but they say, English required. You travel to another country, but no one understands your language. You want to do business, but your clients speak English. Slowly, you start to realize something very important. Without English, the world feels smaller. Your opportunities become limited. Your knowledge becomes restricted. And worst of all, you feel stuck. Because no matter how talented, skilled, or hardworking you are, if you don't speak English, the world will not listen to you. That is the reality. But here's the good news. You can change this. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Now, let's flip the story. Let's imagine a different version of your life. One where you speak English fluently. What happens then? A. You get better job opportunities. If you know English, your career changes completely. You can apply for high-paying jobs in multinational companies. You can work remotely for companies in the USA, UK, or Canada. You can easily get promoted because you can communicate with international clients. If you are a business owner, you can sell to customers worldwide. And do you know what's crazy? Many people work for years in their own country, making very little money. But someone who learns English can double or even triple their income just because they now have access to better jobs. This is why, in many countries, people spend years studying engineering, medicine, or law. But in the end, they don't get jobs because they don't speak English. Meanwhile, someone who speaks fluent English can get a high-paying remote job with just a laptop and an internet connection. That is the power of English. B. You can travel the world without fear. Have you ever wanted to travel to Paris, New York, London, Dubai, or Tokyo? Have you ever wanted to visit a new country, explore new cultures, and meet new people? Well, here's a fact. English is the language of travel. When you land at an airport, all the signs are in English. When you check into a hotel, the staff speaks English. If you get lost, you can ask for help in English. No matter where you go in the world, someone will understand you if you speak English. But if you don't know English, traveling becomes stressful, confusing, and difficult. So, if you want the freedom to explore the world without fear, English is your passport. C. You can learn anything you want. Let me ask you a question. What is your biggest dream? Do you want to become a doctor, engineer, designer, or artist? Do you want to start a business and become your own boss? Do you want to become a successful YouTuber, influencer, or writer? No matter what your dream is, there is one thing you need: knowledge. And guess where 90% of the world's knowledge is stored? In English. Think about it. The best universities in the world teach in English. The best self-improvement books are written in English. The best online courses and tutorials are in English. If you don't know English, you miss out on all of this knowledge. But if you do, you can learn anything. You can develop any skill. You can change your life. The final point: English is power. At the end of the day, learning English is not just about words and grammar. It's about power. It's about freedom. When you speak English fluently, you no longer feel trapped in your country, in your job, or in your limitations. Instead, you feel confident, strong, and independent. You can communicate with anyone in the world. You can make money from anywhere. You can learn, grow, and achieve your dreams. And that is why millions of people around the world are working hard every day to improve their English. Because they know that English is not just a language, it is a life-changing skill. And now it's your turn. My friends, we have reached the end of this journey. But before we finish, I want to leave you with a challenge. Don't just listen to this. Take action. Start practicing English every single day. Read, listen, speak, and write in English as much as you can. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Keep going. And most importantly, never give up. Because one day in the future, you will look back and realize learning English was the best decision of your life. And when that day comes, you will thank yourself for never giving up. So go out there and make it happen. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I have many more powerful lessons coming your way. Let's learn, grow, and change our lives together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.